All right, guys, I'm going to apologize right now. Today's class is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to try and get through this lesson on the video. My voice isn't going to make it through the day, but this is stuff that we can't postpone. So bear with me as I'm going through these notes. If you need to pause the video, rewind it to watch something again or to try and hear something you missed, don't hesitate to do so. But what we're going to be talking about today is basically distribution. And you've been distributing for a long time. We go clear back to intermediate school when we would distribute things like 3 would be multiplied by 2x plus 5. And the 3 is on the outside of the parentheses, the 2x plus 5 is on the inside, and we would take this 3 and multiply it by everything on the inside. So 3 times 2x was 6x, 3 times 5 was positive 15. Then you got to middle school, and instead of just doing 3 in front, you did things like 2x in front of the parentheses. And on the inside, you would have things like 3x squared plus 9x. And again, we have to distribute. We have to take this 2x, and it means multiply by everything in the parentheses. So 2x times 3x squared, 2 times 3 is 6, x squared is x cubed, plus 2 times 9 is 18, x times x is x squared. So that's kind of what distribution has looked like so far in your life. Today, we're going to make it a little bit more complicated, but this is what it looks like in the real world a lot more often. We don't just have a monomial. Remember, a monomial is just a single term. What we're going to be distributing is a polynomial. So in front of one set of parentheses, we're going to have another set of parentheses, and you have to distribute this whole set to everything on the inside. And I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to do that. I don't care which way you use. What you need to do is pick the one that works best for you and get really good at it. The homework today, this is all you're doing. You're going to do 16 problems that look almost exactly the same because you need to practice this over and over and over again. So what we're doing is we're going to multiply 2 binomials or a binomial with a trinomial. So what that means is we've got 2 sets of parentheses that we are multiplying together. And the first method, I think the easiest one, in most cases, we call FOIL. And that's a term that your parents probably remember from when they were in high school. What that means is, remember with distribution that we have to multiply everything in front of the parenthesis by everything on the inside of the parenthesis. So in this case, 3x minus 4 times x plus 2, I have to multiply the 3x by everything in these parentheses, and I have to multiply the negative 4 by everything in these parentheses. And what happens is you tend to forget that you didn't multiply certain pieces. So FOIL kind of helps us remember what FOIL stands for. The F stands for first. Okay, F stands for first. And what that means is the first term in each set of parentheses you're going to multiply. So you're going to multiply the first term. 3x is the first in this one. X is the first in this one. 3x times x is 3x squared. So that's what F stands for. The O stands for outside. And what outside means is the terms on the outside of the whole multiplication, the outside terms. So 3x and 2 are what we're going to multiply. So 3x times 2 is a positive 6x. Okay. The I stands for inside. Again, if I'm going too fast, you need a pause to write things down. Go for it. I stands for inside. What that means are the inside terms, the ones that are on the inside of the picture. So negative 4 and x, those are on the inside next to each other. So negative 4 times x is negative 4x. And if you haven't guessed already, L stands for last. So I'm going to take the last term in this one and the last term in this one. So negative 4 and a positive 2. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. So that's what FOIL means. You multiply the first, the outside, the inside, and then the last. After that, I've got all my terms written down. I just have to simplify by combining those that are the same. These are my only x squareds, so 3x squared stays. But then I have 6x's minus 4x's, which becomes 2x's minus 8, because there's no other constants. So my final answer is 3x squared plus 2x minus 8. Okay, let's do another example. FOIL, first, n times 4n is 4n squared. Outside means n times negative 7, the terms on the outside, which is negative 7n. I, inside, means negative 6 times 4n. Negative 6 times 4 is negative 24n. And then I have last, so negative 6 and negative 7. Negative 6 times negative 7 is a positive 42. And now I look for like terms. 4n squared, that's the only n squareds. Negative 7n minus 24n is negative 31n's. And then I have plus 42. So that would be my final answer. Nothing else goes together. Again, if I'm going too fast, don't hesitate to pause, rewind to copy things down. Okay, example C. Again, FOIL, first. So there's one term. There's my first terms right there. 2p squared and 2p. 2 times 2 is 4. P squared times p is p cubed. Those are my first terms. So O, outside, means my outside terms. So 2p squared and negative 5. They're on the outside. So 2 times negative 5 is negative 10p squared. I for inside, so plus 3 and 2p is plus 6p. And then last means my plus 3 and my negative 5, so negative 15. And again, I'm going to combine like terms. This is the only cubed, so 4p cubed. This is the only squared, negative 10p squared. This is the only p, plus 6p. And this is my only constant, so negative 15. So that was my actual final answer. All right, now what I want you to do is try 2 of these on your own. I'm going to pause the video for a second. I want you to do the same. Pause your video, try these 2 problems. When you're done with them, restart the video and see if you did them correctly. All right, so we're doing FOIL first, b squared, that's b to the 4th. Outside, b squared and plus 3, that's plus 3b squared. Inside is negative 1 and b squared, so negative b squared, because there's only one of them, negative 1 times b squared. And then last, negative 1 times positive 3 is a negative 3. Then I combine like terms, there's only b to the 4th. 3b squared minus b squared means there's 2b squared minus 3. And you're done. Second example, first, c squared, 2c. Multiply those and you get 2c cubed. Outside, c squared times positive 3 is plus 3c squared. Inside, negative 4 times 2c. So that's these 2 is negative 8c. And last, negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. And I don't have any like terms, so that should be your final answer. All right, moving on to the second way of doing this. The other way to do this is to use a table, which kind of organizes this work for you. And a lot of ways, I think it makes it easier to not make mistakes, but it requires some extra work on your part just because you have to draw the picture. So what we do is we're going to simplify these 2 polynomials, these 2 binomials. We've got 3x plus 1 times x plus 4. So in this one, I have 2 terms. I have 3x and I have plus 1. I'm going to copy those down right here on the outside of my table. 3x and a positive 1. In this set of parentheses, I have an x and a positive 4. I'm going to copy those down on these sides. So my x goes here, my positive 4 goes here. So now what I'm going to do is, remember that we have to multiply everything in this one with everything in this one. So what I do is I multiply my table. I take this x and I multiply it by the 3x. So 3x and x multiplied is 3x squared. And then I take x and I multiply it by 1, which is just x. Now I take the 4 and I multiply it by 3x, and I get 12x. I take the 4 and I multiply it by 1, and I get 4. If you need a pause to write that down, go for it. So now I've got these 4 terms, and I just have to put them together and write it in a math sentence. So 3x squared, that's my only x squared. So I'm going to write that down, and I've used that one. Now I've got 12 x's in this one and another x in this one. That's 13 x's. So those are gone. And then I'm left with plus 4. And that's as simplified as it gets, so I'm done. Okay? So it kind of organizes your terms and separates them, and it might make it easier for you to find like terms. It's just up to you. If you want to make the table and do it this way, that's just a kind of a preference for you. I'm going to do 2 more examples, and then I'm going to have you try a couple on your own. The next example is right here below it, 3p plus 4, 2p plus 5. So in here I have 3p, so I'm going to put that on the top. And then I have a positive 4, so that's going to go right here. In the other parentheses, I have 2p on top first, and then 5. So I put each term in at a different box. And now I multiply. 2p times 3p is 6p squared. 2p times 4 is 8p. 5 times 3p is 15p. And 5 times 4 is 20. So I'm just multiplying my rows by my columns. And now I've got my terms. I just need to put them in with like terms. So 6p squared, there's no other p squareds. So 6p squared. Now I have 15 p's and 8 more p's. So that is a positive 23p. And then I have 20, which is just a positive 20. And I'm done. Okay? Third example. This time we're going to use a trinomial and multiply it by a binomial. So instead of only having 2 terms in my first set of parentheses to distribute, I have 3. I have 2x squared, so I'm going to put that right here. I have negative 3x. Remember that sign in front of the term comes with it, and then I have a positive 1. In my second set of parentheses, I have x, and then I have a negative 3. That's going to go right here. And now I multiply across with my columns, my rows and my columns. So x multiplies by 2x squared, which is 2x cubed. X multiplied by negative 3x is negative 3x squared. X times 1 is x. Pause if you need to. Rewind if you need to. Next one, negative 3 times 2x squared is negative 6. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. And then I have x squared. Negative 3 times negative 3x. A negative times a negative is a positive. So that's positive 9 x's. Negative 3 times 1 is a negative 3. So there's a lot more terms to deal with, but I can do it just like I did with this table. I look for my biggest variable, which are 2x cubed. And there's only one of them, so I'm going to start with that one. Now I have these x squareds. I've got negative 6x squared and negative 3x squared. Remember, I'm not multiplying those now. I'm adding them together. So negative 6 plus negative 3 is negative 9x squareds. So those go away. Then I have 9x's plus another x. So that's 10x's. And then I have minus 3. Cubes squared to the first power and constants. And I'm done. Okay? So what I would like you to do, whoops, it's not on the back of my paper. If you turn your paper over, you've got another box that says try it, and there's 2 tables in there. I want you to pause the video and I want you to try these two problems on your own. When you're done, hit play and make sure that you did them correctly. So my first parentheses has an x squared and it has a positive 1. My second has an x and a minus 3. So I'm going to put those down the side. And now I multiply. X times x squared is x cubed. X times 1 is x. Negative 3 times x squared is negative 3x squared. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. I know I'm going fast, but you should just be checking your work at this point. X cubed, that's my only cubed. Minus 3x squared, that's my only x squared. X is my only x, so plus x, and minus 3 is my only constant. So I've used all four. There's my final answer. Okay, second table. I've got an x and a plus 2. So I'm going to put x, and I'm going to put a positive 2 here. And then I have x squared, 3x, and a minus 4, a negative 4. And now we multiply. X times x squared is x cubed. X times 3x is 3x squared. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Here's where the table's really handy because FOIL only works if I have 2 by 2. This one, if I were to do the first, the outside, the inside, and the last, I completely miss this term. So FOIL doesn't work very well with trinomials. It only works with binomials. So now we look for our common terms, which a lot of times come in diagonals here. So I've got 1x cubed right here. And then I have 2x squareds and 3 more x squared. So that's 5x squared. Remember, I'm adding now. 6x and minus 4x becomes plus 2x because 6 minus 4 is 2. And then I have a negative 8. So x cubed plus 5x squared plus 2x minus 8. Go back, rewind, check over that problem if you need to one more time. Otherwise, we're going to move on to some special cases. And some of these are more beneficial than others, but I think it's good for you to see that a lot of times we can take a little shortcut. And one of the shortcuts we can take is if both of my sets of parentheses are the same. So n minus 7 squared means n minus 7 multiplied by n minus 7. Now, if both of my parentheses are exactly the same, there's a little bit of a shortcut. We don't have to go through making a table. We don't have to go through FOIL. It gives us the shortcut right here. What it says is, if my terms are a minus b, which is what I have, n minus 7, so a minus b, if I've got 2 of those, then here's my answer, what it's going to look like. So a is going to become a squared. And in my problem, n is the a, so I get n squared. Then my next term is going to be a minus 2 times a times b. So I take 2 and multiply it by n, which is 2n, and then I multiply that by 7. So 2 times n times 7, 2 times 7 is 14 n's. 2 times a times b. Then my last term is a plus b squared. And in my problem, 7 is my b, so 7 squared is 49. So rather than having to do all the table, I can just use this formula and take a little bit of a shortcut, because that's my final answer. I'm already done. Now, if my terms are the same but they're a plus, 2x plus 9 multiplied by 2x plus 9, there's a same shortcut, except for this time I'm using a plus b, because it's 2x plus 9. So 2x is my a, and 9 is my b. And this is what my answer is going to look like. A squared, so 2x squared. So 2 times 2 is 4. X times x is x squared. So there's my first term, 4x squared. Then I need to take 2, multiply it by a, multiply it by b. So 2 times 2x is 4x, times 9 is 36x. And then my last term is plus b squared. And b is 9, so I'm going to add 9 squared, which is 81. 1, 2, 3 terms, and I'm done. You don't have to use the shortcut. You're more than welcome to use the table, to use FOIL, but the shortcut, if you get good at it, the shortcut can save you a little bit of time. You'll get the same answer, it just takes less time to get it, okay? The other shortcut is even better, and the way it works is if I have, it almost looks the same as the last one, except for I have x plus 9 multiplied by x minus 9. So the numbers are exactly the same, but I've got a plus and a minus. And what's nice about this one is your answer comes out to be really short. If I have x plus 9 and x minus 9, a plus b, a minus b. So my answer is going to look like a squared. Well, a is just x, so I get x squared minus b squared. B is 9, so that's just 9 squared, which is 81. And I'm done, okay? This example, 3c minus 4, 3c plus 4, again, I square the first one, and I square the second one. 3 squared is 9c squared, and 4 squared, whoops, that's supposed to be a minus sign, sorry. 4 squared is 16, okay? Try those shortcuts if you understand how they work. We'll practice them a little bit more tomorrow when my voice is working better. But if the shortcuts are difficult, use the table. If you like FOIL better, go ahead and use the FOIL method. Good luck. Let me know how it goes.